Over the past 2 years of my self-improvement journey, I've done many abstinations from junk food, porn, video games, social media, anything you could list. I've included many practices, and I've been very successful in those practices. I'm not making this video to brag, but I want to start off this video by giving you a little bit of an idea of who I am and how I've implemented these things. I don't want to go too in depth of it. I have loads of other videos if you're interested, but I cannot explain to you or give it justice how much better my life has been over the past year, right? That's when it's really kicked in, the last year. The first year was a grind because I was half-assing a lot of things. The second year really took off for me, and that's because I implemented a lot of mindset changes and implemented a lot of systems, all right? I want to tell you some advice that most likely other people aren't giving you. And this is the advice that made it possible for me to do any of the stuff that I claim to have done. Alright, so number one, well, specifically for social media, don't delete the apps. This can be applied to a lot of other things as well, such as diet, workout, and, anything else you can imagine. Don't get rid of don't take away the, whatever it is. If you have junk food or something in the house, don't throw it away. If you have the apps that you use, don't delete them, because it takes 20 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, to go to the app store and download it again. Right? If you have junk food, it takes maybe 5 minutes to go to the store and get another Snickers or, whatever it is that you eat. We want as little desire for you to open up the app as possible. And the same thing applies for food and stuff. So I guess I can make separate videos on all of these or just include them in one. But I've chosen to specify it down to the social media because I think that's more of an issue that people are starting to focus on. So unfollow everyone that you don't absolutely love. Right? This may make you feel uncomfortable because you feel like you're not as big a part in the social circle as you thought. And you might say like, whoa, what about all my old friends? Won't it make things awkward? And no, it won't. I mean, at the very least, you'll have a singular awkward conversation, and then it's in exchange for having better mental health. I'm being attacked by ants right now, so I apologize if I'm getting distracted. Yeah. So if you follow interesting or funny platforms or channels or whatever they're called, you can see how much of a professional I am on this. You're more likely to scroll, so try to limit those if you can. If you don't absolutely love them, get rid of them. Alright? By this point, if you followed all the steps correctly, and you only have maybe 50 to 100 channels that you're following, it should take you maybe 30 seconds or so to scroll to the bottom. Alright? Number 3. This is one of the most important ones. Don't quit social media. Right? Why aren't we quitting, you might ask? Well, I mean, quitting implies that it's permanent. Right? That's why most people fail smoking, quitting their smoking habits, junk food, eating junk. Bro, fucking ants. Go away, nosy. That's why most people, they're trying to quit junk food, porn, fapping, smoking. I might have already said that. But it's why they always fail. And they always will continue to fail. Alright? You will almost certainly do those things again if you view it as quitting. Permanently. So, can you imagine that you're not going to do those things in the next 50 years, in the next 60 years? You're not going to use social media in the next 60 years, in the next 50 years, in the next 30, hell, even the next 10 years, you're going to use social media. So the goal isn't to place a huge restriction in your life, but the goal is to just reduce as much of the negative effect that it has on our mind, right? We don't want to be thinking about it when we're supposed to be doing other things, or when we have other things, like other goals in mind, okay? If you're trying to quit, you're not thinking long term. That's the kind of takeaway here. You're not thinking long term. And these ants are also not thinking long term because they keep fucking with me. Okay, but you're not thinking long term. And you just want to feel good boost and a nice little pat on the back, from social recognition. You want to be able to go up to your friend group and be like, oh yeah, guys, I'm quitting social media. Alright, so drastically lower it so you retain no detriments. No detriments. I'd say like maybe 10-20 minutes a week. That's really all you need. I don't actually use social media myself. I maybe use YouTube for roughly an hour, like 30 to 50 minutes a week. But it's really rare that I watch any YouTube videos or anything. It's like maybe once every 2 or 3 days. And they're usually pretty short. They're usually for school or something. Right? Yeah. About 10-20 minutes a week. That's all you need for social media. So what this looks like is, for 4 or 5 days, you won't really think about it, and then maybe you'll get a message from someone that you replied to, and maybe while you're on there, you'll go ahead and scroll through some of the stuff, all right? Some of the channels that you followed, which you only should have like 50 to 100, if you've followed all the steps. So you only should have about that many. Shouldn't take you that long. You might scroll for a minute, all right? For any addiction, this applies for any addiction, right? Do not quit. You will fail. You have failed. You will always fail if you claim to quit or try to quit, right? And then once you do quit, or once you do fail, you'll have that idea of, oh, well, I already failed my goals, so I'm going to go ahead and, do this. It's like when you relapse on porn. You just fucking go for the next week like 20 or 30 times. Right? If you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. But don't quit. What makes this time special? What makes this time any different? You will fail. Do not quit. All right? You want balance. That's really the end goal here. Everything in life is about balance. The thing with social media and all of the things that we're talking about in this video is that balance comes with barely using it, right? There's not much room in life for these activities, okay? And that's something really important that I think people need to understand about video games and stuff. An hour a day is still too much. In my opinion, video games shouldn't be a part of your day, regardless of who you are or what your goals are. It shouldn't be a part of your day. Social media is somewhat acceptable because you need to learn the ins and outs of it if you want to become a successful entrepreneur. And I'm watching this snail right now. I'm sorry if I keep looking off to the side. I don't know if you can see it, but... Or not a snail, but a slug. He's chilling. Anyway. I'm watching his ass. Yeah. But going on Instagram once a week is about as much balance as you're going to get for, social media.